What? Okay, here we go. We are going to broadcast real quick. I'm going to see how much shading and coloring I can get done before I have to pick my daughter up from preschool. So let's let's do this thing, huh? So let's see here. We got all the flats done from last night, and hopefully we'll see how it goes, right? So let's see here. No one's in. I don't know if anyone's in the live chat yet. Probably not. You guys are probably all at work, but you can watch it later, and that's what the point is with that. There we go. Let's get into it. So let me show you how I color. Let's see here. I'm gonna look up something real quick. I'm gonna look at a. I want to see where the light is coming from on the original picture. So it looks like it's mainly down in front. So I'm going to do a new layer. This will be shadows. And then we'll do for most of my shadows, I do a purple blue if I'm doing something quick. And then what I do here is I drop it all the way over, right? Then I go down to the other part of it. Let me go ahead and close this. I go to the other part here, and what I do is on the color figure layer, I select that, and then I go pop up to the shadows again, and I delete it. So now we've got the shadows there, and it's just on the figures. Okay, then I take down the opacity a little bit so I can see what I'm working with. And then now what we do is we just kind of carve out the shadows. So, and in my experience, it has been better for me to it's been better. We're going to be doing a lot of work with the eraser. It's been better for me to have more shadow than less shadow. I think I get a little hung up on I can get a little hung up on making sure that the shadow looks a certain way. Oh, sure. I need to look at that thing, you know. Let's see. Oh, look at how they different stuff. I like to go and look at how a painter did it. So with the Conan cover, for instance, it's very handy for me to be able to look at the actual picture and see how they did it. So see where the shadows are, because that's how, for me, that's how I learn. I learn by looking at people who've done something the way I want to do it. Okay, so there's a very limited amount of splash on there. Okay, so oops. Just a little bit of, I guess they call it rim lighting on this side. Computer's running just a little bit slow right now. Should have done a hard reset last night. Any metal, I make sure to pull out of the shadow a little bit. And it's on both sides, it's uniform lighting. I see a lot of people use some people use different tools for this. Some people use this, the lasso tool, and they'll be like, okay, well, I'll take out that much, and that's cool for people who are good with it. I'm better with an eraser than I am with the lasso tool right now, anyway. I haven't seen the advantage of using. There's a ton of construction going on right now. I apologize for that, guys, but kind of want to get this done for you. I mean, I see their point with it, because let's see. Let me try. I mean, it still doesn't look as natural to me. And then for because this is like a cartoon. This is not a straight up illustration. This is very cartoony. So I tend to, for like cartoony stuff like this, and also for women's faces, I don't want to make the shadows too harsh, because if they're too harsh, it's not going to work. Let's see here. In fact, you know what? On the face, it's easier to adjust for me for doing cartooning stuff. Give a lot of shadow under the eyes. That's still dramatic, and it doesn't make female characters look bad. Look too masculine or not good enough. And for let's see here. Make sure I'm broadcasting and everything. All right. And for it's just easier. It's just easier to do it. Because you get a little too dramatic with the lighting. Also, the upper lip is almost always in shadow, because the way the bite on our mouths work. There, that's less shadow than would realistically be there compared to the rest of her, but it looks good. It looks better on a woman to have more of her face shown. On a female character, it can start to look a little 5 o'clock shadowy if you don't do it that way. Let's see here. So obviously, metal gets priority for being out of the shadow. It reflects more light. Tiny bit of rim lighting on the shoulders, and then where the light's really catching is a different place. All right, light's really catching will be right here. And then light's really catching is right here. Make my eraser just a little bit smaller. This would catch light here, catch light across. across the entire thing, but with that, I'm okay with that being a little bit dramatic. Oopsie. What's going on? Oh, I'm on eraser mode. Dang, that construction is pretty lame for recording. This is my favorite part. This is my favorite part about drawing, is doing this. This is where it comes to life for me, and I really, really like it. You can see, like, this is starting to look way better. I was only kind of half pleased with it last night, to be honest. It's a little confusing for me because I'm not totally sure how to do that. Because there's like shadow being cast on it. But honestly, for me, when in doubt, more shadow. It just looks better. And then I can always taper it down by changing the opacity of the layer. So the reason this is being lit is because there's a, going for it, light source is sort of omnidirectional overhead. It's like stage lighting almost. That's probably why it looks so dramatic on the Robert E. Howard picture. Is because of that. Oh, that's going to be in shadow. And let's see here. What's going on here? Joe Star just messaged me on Facebook chat about Warhammer. We play Warhammer together, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Nathaniel, how's it going, man?" You do keep looking out on timing. We're doing a little bit of I guess you call this stage rendering. This is the rendering stage. So I zoom out a little bit to make sure. Now the shadows are darker now than they will be later, and that is just so I'm clear on where the shadows are. This is very much in the foreground, so top of the tricep is bigger than the bottom of the tricep. And then how you doing, Nathaniel? Did good. You're joining me for my favorite part. My favorite part of drawing. It's looking good. Let's go ahead and save. What we got right here. This is starting to look fucking great, though. And then as a reward, after I pick Winnie up from preschool for lunch, I'm having steak, bacon, and eggs. Ketogenic, baby. Let's see here. I've got that song about little Troy Baller shot collar stuck in my head again. I was telling Jerry about how it gets stuck in my head all the time. Did that on our bonus episode of Tads that we did together. So his hands are raised up and out, so they're going to have way more light on them. So I need to make sure that I can come back in and taper that down later if I need to. Nathaniel Young says that my advice helped him a lot with his shoulder. What did I say? Rear delts, dude. Rear delts. It helps a lot. to do those rear delts. I think that's one of the best ways you can keep yourself from getting injured. He also says, Nathaniel says, it's looking great. Hey, thanks, man. I think so too. But in my head over and over again, it's like, I hit the highway. Everything's my way. And always. I might use this for this. I'm still kind of learning as I go when it comes to lighting stuff. Okay. This is more doing some anime. Nathaniel says he loves the corpse thumbs up. Thanks. Me too, man. It's a stupid and fun thing. Let's see what. I see why. You're doing really large areas. It's handy to get the. It's handy to do the that tool. Oops. Oh man. Oh, shoot. So in the large areas like this, I get a little confused. I'm like, what exactly do I need to lighten and darken here? You know, it's a little I'm a little bit like, yeah, what am I doing? You know. Nathaniel asked if there are more awesome starts today. Yeah, there are. I'm gonna upload some more pretty soon. Thanks for reminding me. Gotta be careful on these. Hey, Tracy Burgess, you're the best. Speak of the devil. We're just talking about awesome starts today, which Tracy Burgess made possible. Our uploads are because he archived it. Hey, thanks, G Virus. How's it going? Let's look at how this is going. This is going pretty well. Won't do any ground shadows for now. Let's move on to Widowmaker. And as you can see with her, um, her hair is almost the same color as the shadow, so it's very dark. Let's see here, I gotta save the battery on my phone real quick. Let's pull up a stream here so I can watch it. Let's see. You're on a late lunch. Tracy Burgess on a late lunch away from the office. Chatting away with the homies. And this is once again, this is metal. So, and it's gold too, so we want to make sure it's appropriately shiny. What just happened? Why is it not working? Oh, my opacity's been turned down to 1% somehow. Yeah, she's super pretty. Widowmaker is kind of obscenely gorgeous. And then the same thing with her. I'm going to block out her face almost entirely, take away the shadow almost entirely, go back in and work it back in. Let's see here. I think that's as much shadow. If you're doing a cartoon lady, I think that's as much shadow as you can get away with on the face and still have her be looking gorgeous, you know? Have to keep in mind, she's also low to the ground, so she's going to be in shadow more anyway. Catching a bit of light, but let's also make sure. I don't know if you'd necessarily have light there on her hand the way I've got it, but it helps with making sure it makes sense. It looks looks good. Tracy asked if I've ever considered doing a hatchwork pattern veil instead of shadow over the face. Do you mean like adding like a veil into the illustration, or do you mean doing a cross hatch on the actual flesh itself to suggest the shadow? Well, I don't think I want to do a veil on her because I'm very fond of her face. I'm not doing a lot of I'm almost doing a cell shading style cartoony this is almost like anime shading, I said before. Like it's pretty basic. But like it's like cartoon style cell shading. So I have on other, I've been working in this. I've been working like this, like with this kind of cartoony style for a while. I think it started pretty heavily when I was working at Door Explosion. I was doing the animations there because it was just easier. It was just easier to do, you know? And I like the results of it too. I like the way that it looked. Now, when I was in school, yeah, we had to do all that kind of stuff. And they definitely wouldn't let you, pick a style and stick with it. They want you to try a whole bunch of things. And I do think that that's good. It's just right now, working this way for whatever reason, and I don't know why. For whatever reason, maybe because I did Babes of Dongaria for because I did Babes of Dongaria for so long, but And I did that with this kind of style because it was really cartoony. For whatever reason, I just can't. Like, that's how I kind of do it. If you guys go to facebook.com/andrew.dewitt.illustration, you can see some fantasy portraits and stuff that I've done that are in different styles than this. But this is kind of taken over in the way that I'm doing it. I'm not sure why. It's just I really like doing it this way. I'm not going to put too much we're not going to render the ground shadow that much. I think that's going to be a little pointless to do that a lot. Daniel Young asked if I ever want to do other styles. Yes. I really like, this sounds stupid, but I really like the way the new Disney animations, the like Frozen and Tangled and all those other stuff, the computer generated ones, I really like the way they do their character design. I think it looks awesome. And if I could draw like that, like two-dimensionally draw like that, I would love it. Rendering this ground is boring. So I'm not going to spend too long on it. I really don't like it. And in the original piece, Frazetta clearly did not want to do it either. He kind of gave the impression of it, which I think ends up working in it. Kind of like it's like almost the way Todd McFarlane ended up drawing later. I wonder if he had an influence on him. Video game's going well. I've got to pop the artwork into the code and knuckle down and do that coding. That's the only thing that I'm worrying about right now. That is getting overwhelmed with that. Let's go ahead and take out the don't need that anymore. Okay, now we'll add some lighting. So let's take this down. Then we're going to take this and we're going to put some light into this. And we'll also take this down too. Well, don't worry, it's not going to be right. So priority for this will be shiny stuff, like lips. Maybe a little bit on hair, maybe on hair. Metal. Tiny bit on her nose and her face. And then when we go in, we're going to drop that opacity way down. So right now I'm just doing this like this, so I know where the light is. But when we do it, like when I finalize it, it will not be like this. It won't be like this at all. Nathaniel asked if I've seen Coco. Winnie has, I haven't. The leather won't get a highlight because leather is dull and matte. Your jewelry and gold stuff will get the most. I might put a little shadow there just to add to the fact that it's three-dimensional. We just watched Incredibles again. Winnie loves it. We've watched it a whole bunch of times. And dude, it is really good. Like the script for the movie is amazing. I mean, it really holds up. It's like funny and action-packed and smart. The skull is dull, so I don't want to put too much light on that. I might take out some of the light that I've done or drop the opacity significantly on it. But what we do, I'll give you a preview of what we do. We just take it way down. Okay. Have a good time, Tracy. So yeah, so it's very subtle what I do. Also, what I can do too is I can set this to soft light like that. That works too. Let's set it back to normal so I know what. Oops, dissolve. Yeah, normal. So I know what I'm looking at. Nathaniel says Coco took him somewhere he'd never been before. You know what's interesting? It's like how mad people got about that a Lost Frozen Adventure thing. It's so funny to me. I totally get it too, because it's like, come on. You're here to see this like extremely culturally specific movie, and then you got to sit through like fucking 20 minutes of like bullshit, Olaf shenanigans. All right, we got a lot of flesh on numbnuts over here, so let's get to work on it. Hey, what's up, dope FTL? Let's look at how the whole thing is going right now. But let's put this light back into soft light there. And we might even take it down a little bit after that. Okay, let's move it back. And let's get in this. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, it's on dissolve. Hey, dope FTL, this is my drawing stream. Thanks for joining. I appreciate the wow. The dulcet sounds of a leaf blower outside my apartment. I can't stand the way they sound. I know this looks a little bit weird right now with the white on here, but that'll go away. It says, incredible work, dude. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I get really, this is gonna sound stupid as hell, but I get super nervous about my, drawing ability. I get really self-conscious about it. There's a dude named Dan who used to really get on me about it. He would be pretty insulting about my ability to draw, and I took it pretty personally. At the Dork Explosion offices, he would kind of get on me about it, you know. He'd be like, "No, this isn't right. No, this doesn't look good. No, no, no." And then he'd always talk about how like I wasn't that good compared to other artists and stuff. It was kind of shitty, man. In retrospect, I realized that that's just him being fucking retarded. Or not, oops, I'm not allowed to say that. I apologize for saying that word. It was him being, well, first of all, he was very specific in what he wanted, which I didn't agree with exactly what he wanted out of the stuff that we were doing. And then, second of all, I think he intentionally would be critical, like as a way to like. I think he thought it was motivating. Maybe I don't know. It definitely was not. Okay, so let's get this into soft light, and let's turn down the opacity just a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Okay, now we're gonna do something else. I'm gonna add some. I make all my girls' noses and cheeks blush. I just like the way it looks. So I create a separate layer from that. Oops. All right, now let's work on this background. Let me see what it looks like. Yeah, it's like a skull in the background and everything. Let me see if I can render a skull real quick. It's pretty, the way they did it was pretty much, Not sure here. Yeah, keep an eye on the time here. It's my wife's timer. I guess she's doing something. Cooking, maybe. You know what? Let me redo that. Do it on a separate layer. I'm not gonna spend too long on doing that because this is kind of just a. We're just kind of applying this. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put Juniata's head in there. Hold on. Need to change my eraser tool in a second. Let's put it into that. Oh man, I'm trying to get 50%. Let's look at the other picture real quick. Need to add a little more different oranges into that. We'll do the brightest stuff right now, though. Okay, so now I gotta do something here. Gonna add some gradient. And now let's get darker with it. Yeah, a little darker. Let's turn it down a little more. Let's see. You guys still there? You guys still watching this thing? Or is it just me? Oh well. Alright, so I need to do something, which is I need to grab something. I'm going to take this over to here and look at my desktop for a minute because I'm going to pull some artwork I've already done for a different client. This is not, you guys aren't allowed to see it yet because it is not released yet, and they want to be very cautious about people stealing the idea. So I'm opening it on another section. So let's see here. Where is it? Let me try another one. Give me just a second. Oh, that's not good. Is this going to work? Okay. Except for difficulty. Ah, that's a pain. I'm trying to find, what I'm trying to do is find a texture background that I can use. And that's super important for this because it'll make the background look way better. So I have scanned in and I use it on a lot of my artwork. There we go. So I have scanned in a sheet of paper a couple of times over and over again to give it like a rough canvasy appearance, and then I set that to multiply, and then I turned the opacity down in the background. It kind of gives it a canvasy feel, which is nice to have. It's nice to have that in the background. Let's see here. All right, now let's start changing it up a little bit. Let's get some darks in there. Let's start making it look crazier. Now we'll do the same thing to make it a little bit lighter. where it needs to be. And then we're going to come back in and we're going to work some of that back into the drawing. Let me add a little bit more orangey brown. Let's look at this damn thing. And we're going to get like a really light yellow, super highlight. That's going to be white, turn white down. I don't know how he did this background, man, because they just gave the impression of like skulls and snakes and stuff. And like you totally get it, like your mind totally gets that something badass is going on, but like that's it, you know? It's almost time for me to go. Yeah, that's starting to look great though. Okay, one more thing before I go, and that is to add some of this color from the background into the foreground. I call this mass lighting. I don't know what it's really called, but we're going to take some warm orange and pop it. Pop it on stuff. Let's get it a little more red on the ground. Turn the opacity on this. That's my eraser at 32. Let's crank it back up. I need to actually erase things. And this is just to kind of tie the colors all in together. And we can wash out some of these elements with it too, which is nice. So you can it'll tell you where you need your details. Where so we're gonna clean it up a little from the video background. And we're gonna erase some of it. Where it needs to be just a little bit cooler. Erase a tiny bit of it, make it just a little bit cooler. Damn, dude. That's just about done. This bad boy's just about done. I am going to darken up the bottom of this, though. So the hill itself is going to get darker in places. Oops. Wrong way. Yeah, dude, that looks amazing. Oh, God. I think that's done, baby. That's done, I think. All right, guys. Thanks for watching the stream. I'm going to... You are not too complimentary, Nathaniel Young. I need it. I need it. I need those compliments, dude. I need them. It makes things so much easier when people are into the stuff that you're doing. Yeah, I love the way this fucking looks. Okay. All right, so we are, we're going to peace out here. So I'm going to go pick up my daughter from preschool, and I'm going to post this. This will be available for all in high res for all Patreon members of the Andrew DeWitt Show at the $10 a month level. And then I'm also going to post a low res version on Twitter and Instagram. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DeWittiot. Listen to Power Pals. If you don't already, give us a thumbs up, and and after it's done, leave a comment. Like after it's all the way done, it takes like a couple hours, but you can come back and leave a comment if you want to. That helps. Subscribe to Power Pals. We do gaming on here and stuff. And then if you're not a member of the Andrew DeWitt Show, consider becoming one. All right, guys, I love y'all very much. And I will talk to y'all soon. So let me save this one more time. And then I'm going to upload it. All right, let's see here. Let's shut down the stream. All right, bye.